decide to take you. Most people believe drifting looks like failure. It doesn't. It looks like average, like getting by, like doing just enough to feel safe while never moving far enough to truly change anything. And that's why it's so dangerous. It hides in plain sight. There are signs, quiet ones, not dramatic, not obvious, but always present. Patterns in how you think, how you decide, how you respond to opportunity. And once you begin to see them, you realize something unsettling. They've been there longer than you thought. The first sign doesn't scream at you, it whispers. It shows up in hesitation, in indecision, in the habit of waiting instead of acting. You tell yourself you're thinking it through, but deep down you know you're delaying something that matters. Then there's the way you react to challenges. Do you face them directly, or do you quietly step around them, hoping they disappear on their own? Drifting doesn't fight resistance, it avoids it. And every time you avoid it, you move a little further off course. Another sign appears in your goals, or rather, the lack of them. Not vague wishes, not passing thoughts, but clear, defined direction. Because without direction, movement becomes meaningless. And without realizing it, you begin moving in circles instead of forward. Pay attention to your habits, the small decisions you repeat every day. Drifting isn't built in one moment, it's built in patterns. Choices that seem harmless potential slowly goes unused. The truth is hard to accept. Drifting doesn't destroy your life overnight. It softens it, blurs it, pulls you away from what you could become without ever forcing you to notice. And by the time you do, time has already moved on. But here's what changes everything the moment you become aware. The moment you stop and look honestly at where you are, how you think, how you act. Because awareness breaks the pattern. It interrupts the drift. Most people will ignore this. They'll feel the discomfort, recognize a piece of themselves in these signs, and then move on, telling themselves it's not that serious. But the ones who don't ignore it, the ones who confront it, they begin to take control again. Because once you see the drift, you can no longer pretend you're not in it. And that realization is where your direction begins. I shall begin by revealing to you that drifting does not announce itself as failure. It does not arrive with warning, nor does it carry the appearance of danger. On the contrary, it presents itself as comfort. It feels familiar. It appears harmless. And for this very reason, it controls more lives than open defeat ever could. A man does not wake one morning and decide to drift. He arrives there gradually, through a series of small surrenders, so small, in fact, that he scarcely notices them. He begins by accepting what he once would have questioned. He follows what he once would have examined. And in time, he ceases to direct himself altogether. This is the first and most dangerous condition of drifting, the quiet loss of direction. You must understand that direction is not something that maintains itself. It must be chosen daily, yet because they have not fixed a definite aim, their energy becomes scattered. They apply effort here and there, without continuity, without concentration, and as a result, their efforts cancel one another. Contrast this with the man who has chosen his direction. He may begin with less ability, he may lack experience. Yet because his course is fixed, his efforts accumulate. Each action builds upon the last, each day carries him forward. And in time, he surpasses those who once appeared more capable. This is the power of direction. But the drifting man does not feel its absence at first. He feels comfort. He feels the ease of routine. He feels the absence of pressure. He convinces himself that all is well because nothing demands change. And in this comfort, he begins to lose something of far greater value than effort. He loses control. Control is not lost in a single moment. It slips away gradually. Each time a man chooses not to decide, he weakens his authority over himself. Each time he accepts what comes, instead of shaping it, he moves further from command. And in time, he finds himself living according to conditions he did not create. Others begin to see this, though they may not speak of it. They see a man who agrees easily, a man who adjusts quickly, a man who does not resist, but also does not lead. He becomes dependable in a limited sense, yet he is not remembered. He is present, but not influential. This is the mark of drifting. It does not produce failure in the beginning. It produces average results. It allows a man to continue, to exist, to function, but never to rise. And because there is no sharp decline, there is no alarm. The condition continues unnoticed. You must be cautious of this. For the most dangerous state a man can enter is not one of hardship, but one of quiet acceptance. When nothing feels wrong, he has little reason to change. And without change, there can be no advancement. The drifting man often says, "Things are fine." And in that word fine lies his limitation. Fine does not demand effort. It does not stir ambition. It does not awaken desire. It allows a man to remain where he is without question. And over time, it dulls his capacity to want more. I have observed that those who rise to great heights rarely accept such a condition. Men like Andrew Carnegie did not settle into comfort. They questioned continually. They directed their efforts with intention. They refused to allow circumstances to decide for them. And in doing so, they maintained control. The drifting man does the opposite. He allows routine to replace decision. He allows comfort to replace purpose. And he allows time to pass without measuring its use. In this way, he moves further from the life he might have built without ever feeling the loss in a single moment. You must therefore examine yourself carefully. Ask not whether you are active, but whether you are directed. Ask not whether you are busy, but whether your actions are leading you toward a definite end. For activity without direction is the surest sign of drift. There is also another sign, subtle yet revealing. The drifting man rarely speaks with certainty about his future. He may express hopes. He may describe possibilities, but he does not declare his aim. He does not fix it in his mind. And because he does not fix it, he cannot pursue it. His language reveals his condition. He says, "I might, I will try, perhaps." These words carry no command. They suggest consideration, not decision. And without decision, there can be no definite movement. The man who has direction speaks differently. He says, "I will," not as a boast, but as a statement. His words reflect a choice already made. And because the choice is made, his actions follow. This is what separates the directed man from the drifting one. Not effort, not intelligence, but decision. And decision, once abandoned, gives way to drift. You must understand that drifting is not imposed from without. It is accepted from within. It begins when a man ceases to command himself. It continues as long as he avoids that responsibility. Yet the moment he becomes aware of it, something changes. Awareness interrupts drift. When a man sees that he has been moving without direction, he is faced with a choice. He may continue, as before, accepting what comes. Or he may reclaim control by deciding where he will go. This moment is critical, for once a man sees his condition clearly, he can no longer claim ignorance. He must either act or accept the consequences of inaction. Most will choose to ignore it. They will feel the discomfort of recognition and then return to their routine. They will tell themselves that change is not necessary, that things are acceptable as they are. And in doing so, they will continue to drift. But a few will respond differently. They will recognize that comfort has been their enemy. They will see that routine has replaced purpose. And they will decide to act. It is at this point that direction begins, not gradually, but instantly. For the moment a man decides his course, he ceases to drift. He may not yet have moved far, but he has taken control. And control, once established, can be strengthened through continued decision. This is where your power lies, not in what has been, but in what you now choose. Do not allow comfort to disguise your condition. Do not accept movement without advancement, and do not confuse activity with progress. For the man who drifts may live many years without failure, but he will also live without fulfillment. And that, though quiet, is the greatest loss of all. You must now look more closely at one of the most deceptive signs of drifting, for it often disguises itself as intelligence, even as caution, and therefore escapes detection. I speak of the habit of delay, the tendency to postpone action under the appearance of careful thought.